What if I told you that being poor is getting more expensive? Not just because prices are going up, but because the cost of simply existing is changing. And here's the scary part. You can earn more money than you did 5 years ago and still feel poorer. Your salary goes up, your rent goes up, your food costs more, your bills multiply, your subscriptions keep growing, and somehow, at the end of the month, you're still asking yourself, where did all my money go? But this isn't just a story about inflation. There's something deeper happening, because modern life has become incredibly good at turning your income into someone else's revenue. Think about your average month. Rent, electricity, internet, phone, insurance, transportation, food, streaming, apps, delivery fees, bank fees, interest. And then there are the expenses you barely notice anymore. A small monthly payment here, another one there, $5, $10, $15. None of them feel dangerous individually, but together they can quietly become hundreds of dollars every month. And companies understand this better than almost anyone. They don't always need you to make one huge purchase. They just need you to keep paying every month, automatically, without thinking about it. Because once a payment becomes automatic, you stop experiencing it as a purchase. It becomes part of your life. And that's when your income starts disappearing, before you even get the chance to decide what to do with it. But there's an even bigger problem: housing. For millions of people, housing isn't just an expense, it's the expense. And when housing takes a huge percentage of your income, everything else becomes harder. Because you don't have much room left for mistakes. One unexpected bill, one car repair, one emergency, one interruption to your income, and suddenly you're reaching for a credit card. That's how a temporary problem can become long-term debt. And debt creates another problem: interest. When you're wealthy, money can work for you. When you're heavily in debt, money can work against you. And that difference can completely change your financial future. Imagine two people. They both have $10,000. One uses that money to buy assets that can potentially grow over time. The other owes $10,000 on high-interest debt. They may have the same number on paper, but financially, they're moving in completely opposite directions. One is building, the other is paying to escape. And that's where the story gets even more interesting, because the biggest threat to your finances isn't always something you can see. Sometimes it's your own lifestyle. But here's where psychology enters the story. Humans don't just buy things because we need them. We buy things because they communicate something: success, status, security, belonging. And companies understand exactly how to trigger those emotions. You don't always buy the expensive phone because your old phone stopped working. Sometimes you buy it because everyone around you has the new one. You don't always upgrade your car because you need a better car. Sometimes you upgrade because your current car no longer feels impressive. And you don't always move into a more expensive apartment because you need more space. Sometimes you move because your income increased and your definition of normal increased with it. This is lifestyle inflation, and it's one of the quietest financial traps in modern life. You get a raise, you feel richer, so you upgrade your lifestyle. Better apartment, better car, better restaurants, more travel, more convenience, more subscriptions. And suddenly, the raise is gone. Then another raise comes, and the exact same thing happens again. Your income grows, but your financial freedom doesn't, because your lifestyle is growing at the same speed. That's why some people can make 6 figures and still feel broke. Their income increased, but their required lifestyle increased with it. Now compare that with someone who gets a raise, but keeps their lifestyle almost the same. They don't immediately upgrade everything. They take the extra money and use some of it to build their future. Maybe an investment, maybe a business, maybe education that increases their earning power, maybe an asset. The specific choice isn't the point. The direction is. Instead of using every extra dollar to increase consumption, they use some of it to increase future options. And that's the difference between looking rich and becoming financially stronger. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. The economy doesn't need everyone to become wealthy. It needs people to keep spending. Businesses need customers. Banks need borrowers. Subscription companies need subscribers. Retailers need shoppers. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. Spending money isn't bad. Debt isn't automatically bad. Buying nice things isn't bad. The problem starts when consumption becomes automatic and investing becomes optional. When every paycheck is already promised before it arrives, you aren't really controlling your income. your lifestyle is. And that's why being poor can become more expensive. Not because poor people are stupid, not because they don't work hard, and definitely not because everyone can simply budget better. Some costs really are rising. Housing can be expensive, healthcare can be expensive, education can be expensive, transportation can be expensive, and wages don't always move at the same speed. So the answer isn't pretending the problem doesn't exist. The answer is understanding the game. Because once you understand where your money is going, you can start changing its direction. Start with one question, not how much do I make? Ask, how much of what I make actually stays with me? Then ask something even more important. How much of my money is building my future, and how much is simply maintaining my present? Those questions can completely change the way you see money. Because financial freedom doesn't begin when you become rich. It begins when you stop letting every increase in income become an increase in spending. The goal isn't to never enjoy your money. The goal is to make sure your money isn't completely consumed by your lifestyle. Because the person who earns $50,000 and keeps $10,000 may be financially stronger than the person who earns $100,000 and keeps nothing. And once you understand that, you stop asking, how can I look richer? And you start asking, how can I become harder to financially break? That's a much more powerful question. Because prices may continue rising. Companies will continue competing for your attention. New subscriptions will keep appearing. And lifestyle inflation will always be waiting for your next raise. You can't control all of that, but you can control what happens to the money that reaches you. And maybe that's the real secret. Being wealthy isn't simply about earning more. It's about creating a life where every extra dollar doesn't immediately disappear. Because if your income rises, but your expenses rise with it, you're not moving forward. You're just running faster. And the people who eventually escape that cycle aren't necessarily the people who make the most money. They're the people who learn to make their money work before their lifestyle learns how to spend it.